Because the movie is not an origin tale for Batman, but it's his early days, it really is an origin tale for the rogues galleries. You know, when you're making a movie like this, you want it to be different. You want people to feel like they're having a special experience. And then for me, when you're going to the cinema, you want some level of surprise. And I think one of the things I was worried about was speculation while we were making the movie that we would be exploring the character that we ended up exploring. So we started thinking, well, what can we do to throw people off that scent? So this idea of making him Stanley Merkel was exactly that, you know, because the police force is actually a big part of the story. So it seemed credible that we could be doing that. So that was the goal.
There is a legacy of Batman from DC known worldwide since its inception in 1939. People who know Batman's story and love every detail of how Batman is Batman might tell you that it's a wholesome experience for them to watch the Cape Crusader on a big screen, perhaps. Not to sideline the classic comic fans who can bring out every little details about Batman and its origin. You have to be there in the movie hall and understanding the connection with Batman people have when the crowd cheers while the iconic Batmobile makes a thrilling entry with cinematic in its whole eternity. The expectations with this movie of people was high as it was claimed it goes back to the younger, more beginning journey of Batman than its more mature version. New Batman's movie, The Batman, is released in India while it was released way before in other countries on 2nd March 2022. The Batman is a reboot and another version of the DC Comics' most famous superhero character, Batman. Many of you might not know that DC stands for Detective Comics, which was the beginning of the DC Comics popularity, but it all started with Batman. He started as more of a detective solving cases with his partner Robin in the original comics than a superhero or vigilante. The Batman movie takes the same notes from the comics and on such a serious note that this will give you serious vibes of legendary detective movies such as Seven, directed by David Fincher. Batman has sort of a young start in the movie following his journey to realize he's more than capable to just keep getting his vengeance by solving crimes. The reason why more young-looking actors such as Andy Serkis and Robert Pattinson are casted compared to more older appearance of the Batman's timeline in other movies such as The Dark Knight with Michael Caine and Christian Bale. This can be considered as a Batman's Arkham origin story, but something to mind that this movie doesn't dive deep into Batman's past, doesn't even dive in it, let alone dive deep. That means not showing any kind of childhood story or past experiences at all. There have been different versions of Batman in live action version of the movies, taking their own space for creativity with imagination, but I believe one thing that has always stood strong and will continue to do so is the constant theme of Gotham City appearing in almost all of DC's Batman related Gotham City story, where people are the center of the attention with lots of symbolical imageries that tells us how Gotham City is full of corrupted people but also with those who wish for better. The Batman is really the darkest version of the Batman we have seen so far in any movie, with themes and visuals standing strong as proof of it. This Batman is dark, intense, gritty, self-loathing, aggressive, intelligent, but the first Batman who is vulnerable. On a personal note, I have seen such kind of all-dark Batman but with a heart representation is something I have seen so far for the first time in the Batman movie. The darkness lurks around everywhere here, even underneath the mask with kajal around his eyes to work as a filler for the mask. The movie is really dark and the black color highlight proves all that just right. To make a valid point, I'll go back to 2019 when Joaquin Phoenix starrer The Joker was released, making records so much that it won Oscar for Best Actor as well. The Joker movie is directed by Todd Phillips, who presented a never been seen before version and specifically an older version of Gotham with dark pitch, tone and themes in the movie, but still the movie had vibrant use of colors other than only black. I really feel that Matt Reeves, the director of the Batman, tried to recreate the essence of the Joker here. Even the styling written format at the beginning of both the movies are exactly similar, covering the entire screen of the theater with its wide aspect of text, except the color of course. I won't go into the details of the Batman costume as only hardcore Batman fans and detail-oriented people of Batman's suit will be able to put points about it more clearly. So far, what I can say that the Batman went with a balance of quite modernish, stylized yet a realistic version of the Batman suit. Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy went for a more realistic approach. While this was a funny one considering the era this was made in, but this was absolutely inappropriate to even think in the first place. The bike used was more like a motorcycle appearing like one of the classic Harley Davidson's prototype, more than the iconic Bat-cycle. I have already talked about the Batmobile, haven't I? Special props to the composer Michael Giacchino, who helped the movie creators push the level of darkness and heart-throbbing feeling at every intense moments and sequences in the movie. I really and genuinely want to say that background score of the movie was most compelling version of DC's dark and epic background scores for me, since I last fell in love with the background score of Man of Steel composed by Hans Zimmer. I still adore the soundtrack, What You're Going to Do When You're Not Saving the World. Quite a long title, right? The movie features different significant characters for Batman's franchise, featuring 3 villains and 3 supporting roles. There is, first of all, Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, played by Robert Pattinson, the Riddler, played by Paul Dano, the Penguin, played by Colin Farrell, Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, played by Zoe Kravitz, James Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright, Alfred Pennyworth, played by Andy Serkis, Kevin Falcon, played by John Turturro, and an unnamed cameo appearing at the end of the movie. It is pretty much obvious to say that Robert Pattinson's Batman is well played and portrayed by him, no doubt. But as always, other than the main lead role, the one who shines the most for me was the Penguin, played by Colin Farrell. His one-line statements, sometimes sarcastically and witty remarks, with his efforts to play the role with such fine pace is what made me love him the most. Not to leave Paul Dano behind for his efforts for a not Jim Carrey version of the Riddler, because of which he claims he couldn't sleep well so many nights. But why the change to the classic outfit of the Riddler and the performance of a cameo who is our infamous clown? Matt Reeves tells that he is the Joker and it is likely he will get his own role in the next sequel of the Batman. Who played the Joker in the Batman? Well, it is being said the eternal fame Barry Keoghan is the one who played this cameo and will come back for a probable sequel. The legacy of the Joker's character is well known and received by people all over the world. We have yet to see how Barry will pull off this part. What to expect for the next sequel of the Batman from the Joker? Here's what Matt Reeves said.
And when Selina is talking to Batman at the end of the movie, and they're having their kind of very poignant goodbye because they're always going to be on the opposite sides of things, she says to him, you know this place isn't going to change. And when I took the scene out, the stakes of the scene changed because that scene shows you that when she says that, you've just seen it. And you see the two of them next to each other. And that's just one sort of example of how trouble in Gotham is never going to subside. There's always going to be somebody with a plan afoot. And so it changed the movie dramatically. So the scene is not meant to be there to say like, oh, here's an Easter egg. The next movie is X. Like, I don't know that the Joker would be in the next movie, but I can tell you that here's what you're seeing is an early days version of this character, and trouble, as always, is brewing in Gotham.
It is important to not get confused and assume that this movie will be a co-adjoint later with other DC movies. The Batman is in no way connected to the ongoing timeline and DC cinematic universe, so there's not going to be a really Justice League power-packed action movies in the future with Robert Pattinson's Batman. This Batman's version was more dark and well rooted to its ground from where the DC comics started, which means he plays more as a detective and play an equal role for solving the crimes of Gotham with police. Matt Reeves combined that with the existing dark essence of popular Batman's pitch. It seems no one wants to see our cave crusader dancing and giving us groovy vibes. Here's a bonus thing before I end this video. Spoilers for the post-credit. The post-credit scene in the Batman is not really per se a scene, but more of a quick glimpse of a rabbit hole, or better to say, a riddle created to solve clues and puzzles through the Ratalata website, which the Riddler used to communicate with Batman. So if anyone is going to wait for any post-credit, well, sorry to break it to you, but you might waste your time there. Not only when you are a hardcore Batman fan and would love to enter a Riddler made riddles and puzzles to solve, which will actually reward you with, I don't know, something. But it will be a fun experience for sure. Seeing the people waiting for the post-credit scene and saying damn at the end was simply fun for me as well. That's it for my brief take on the new standalone another Batman movies franchise and a reboot. Important to say this at times so people will see it apart from other movies and not comparing. Thanks for watching the video, and write down anything you think I missed to mention or simply you would like to share. Feel free to subscribe and share this video. I'll see you the next time. Bye bye.